Welcome everybody, my name is Misha and I will be leading you through a short class today that's designed for those of you who aren't feeling so well. So I've been quite ill for the last week and I do notice that my body becomes stiffer. I mean, not only am I not going to the gym or doing less yoga, but I'm also moving less, I'm staying in bed. So today is designed for those of you who aren't feeling so well. You might have a cold or flu. And especially as we're coming into going back to school time, this will be really nice for those of you who are struggling to get out of bed but do want to bring some movement in. So all you're going to need today is your bed or somewhere comfortable, and this is all going to be nice and relaxing, nice and gentle. So go ahead, get yourself into something comfortable and let's get started in a seated position. So I do quite like to use a pillow to go underneath my seat, but if your seated position is comfortable, you're very welcome to stay exactly where you are. So finding somewhere that feels good. If it doesn't feel good to cross the legs, you can send them forwards instead, no worries. And we'll just start to lift up through the spine, taking a moment to relax those shoulders down the back. And lightly closing the eyes whenever you're ready. And we'll just start to check into our bodies. So especially those of you not feeling so well like me, let's just notice where this is in the body right now. So whether we're experiencing some congestion in the nose, any discomfort there, just becoming present with this without bringing any commentary to this, but instead just an awareness. This might be traveling into the head, so maybe there's any headaches. So again, just observing the body as it is right now without resistance, but just accepting where you are right now. It can oftentimes be quite frustrating if we're not able to do things we're normally able to do, if we need to take some time. So any of those emotions swirling around, just being present with them, not being judgmental, but instead just acknowledging where you're at right now. And especially when we're sick, our bodies can move into this protective state of being. So just noticing if you're shrugging yourself forwards, can we sit slightly taller? Can we let those shoulders drop down and back? And just creating a bit more space along the chest, so opening ourselves up. Notice with your clenching the jaw, let's make space between the teeth as we relax. Releasing the cheeks, the eyebrows, the forehead. And just becoming aware of your breathing without changing. And perhaps we're breathing through the mouth today if our nose is really bad. This is no problem. And just observing that length of breath, your pace. And especially when we're sick, our breath can become quite laboured, difficult. So we're just going to take some time to breathe a bit deeper. So our lungs are almost like, right at the end, wet air balloons. So water balloons, sorry. Almost like empty water balloons where this is surface tension. And we're just going to deepen the breath so that we can create that space again in the lungs to absorb some oxygen a bit better. So when you're ready, taking a nice full and deep breath in, let's feel the chest rise. Whether that's through the mouth or the nose, and then slowing down your breath out. So again, full deep breath in. And a slow breath out. And we won't spend too long with the breath, so just bearing with me here. Nice long breath in. slow breath out. Let's keep this going. We're going to take just 3 rounds of our physiological sigh. And what this means is we're going to breathe in without force right to the top, and then we take another breath in, and then breathing out fully. So I'll just demonstrate first. We take a breath in again, and then out completely. So whenever you're ready to join me, let's take a full breath in again, and then a long breath out. Just really opening up the lungs. Last time, full breath in again, and fully out. Now allowing your breath to return to normal as we just check in to any changes. Perhaps noticing your heartbeat, any areas of tension that might have accumulated again, so softening the shoulders. And we'll just begin to blink those eyes open. Now, especially when we're not so well, we might sleep in different positions and we might be feeling some soreness, some tightness in the neck. So we're just going to spend some time opening the neck. When you're ready, dropping the right ear down to the right shoulder. And then moving the head right the way back through the middle and lowering that left ear down. And you might connect to the breath here, breathing in through the middle and exhaling to drop. Or we might move independently of the breath, perhaps a bit quicker, maybe a bit slower. And just feeling that tension really rolling off the shoulder. As your left ear drops to your left shoulder, make sure to keep that right shoulder nice and relaxed. Same vice versa. Now the next time your head meets the middle, we're going to switch the movement. So beginning to look over the right shoulder, travel your chin in one line, almost like you're moving along a table, and then we'll take the head all the way over to the other side. So especially for me, when I'm not so well, I tend to use lots of pillows and attempt to try and keep my sinuses nice and open. So just undoing any damage from that. Keep the head moving side to side and being nice and gentle with the neck. Let's take one more in each direction. And then as your head meets the middle again, we'll switch up. So dropping the chin to the chest this time. Let's breathe out as we look down. And then lifting the head, breathing in, looking up. Now keep this going, exhaling chin to chest. And if it doesn't feel so good to drop the head right now, so if you notice that the nose begins to run, perhaps we just lift and bring the head back into neutral. So your choice completely. Breathing in to lift. And breathing out to lower. You might notice that this is opening the sinuses. Let's take one more in each direction. And then as your chin meets the chest, we're going to start to draw full circles with the head. So rolling all the way around in one direction. And then every time the chin meets the chest, we change direction. And perhaps if it doesn't feel so comfortable to drop that head all the way back, we might be making more of a D shape here, so moving the head through the middle instead of dropping back. And always feeling free to be playful in any of these movements. So perhaps if something else feels a bit better for you, you're very welcome to move in any way the body might be asking for. Let's take our last circle. And then as you bring that head back into the middle, take a neutral spine, and we'll start to roll those shoulders. Really nice movement. So we can either be leaving those arms on the legs, or we might bring them with us. Any clicking or cracking, we don't mind at all here. And if you find that there's a bit of a mechanical feeling, so if this is feeling a bit robotic, we might make these circles smaller. And starting to change direction. When you're ready, rolling them forwards. We're starting to move our way down the body. This is really nice to just release any stress that we've been carrying on those shoulders. Any frustrations I mentioned at the beginning that you might be feeling about being grounded. So our illnesses often ground us, they force us into rest. We can be so used to being busy, to needing to get stuff done all the time, that there's almost this guilt underlying. And for this practice, we're just really letting go of that guilt. We're allowing ourselves to take time to rest. Now, relaxing the shoulders back down, we're going to bring the fingers to a pinch, and we're going to take these to the tops of the shoulders, no problem if these are hovering. And we start to draw circles with the elbows, so nice big circles in one direction. Can we tap them together just in front of that chest? And then changing the direction of these circles, let's roll them in the other way. Again, can we tap the elbows together even if they're miles apart? No problem. Our practice is all about an awareness and just avoiding that commentary that I mentioned at the beginning. Let's take our last circle, and then we're going to meet with the elbows directly out in line with the shoulders, so lifting up. We're going to open those arms, big stretch, palms faced up, and then floating the right hand to the right side. Turn your left palm to face up, and we take a big stretch across towards that right side. So really opening up the side of the body here. We're going to windmill the arms over towards our left, so breathing in, reach the arms over the head, and exhale, floating the left hand down as that right arm reaches. And not moving with any force today. Moving nice and slowly, honoring wherever the body is at right now. Let's reach those arms back over the head, breathing in, and we take a twist as we float our right hand behind us and grabbing hold of this left thigh with the left hand. Right thigh with the left hand. Now sitting nice and tall here. Focus on that upper body as you bring that right shoulder just a bit further back. Now on an inhale, we're going to windmill those arms back over the head, breathing in, and then floating into our twist over to the left side. So left hand behind the back, opening the chest up. Nice deep breathing. And then keeping those arms down by the sides as we just turn our chest to face forwards. We're going to see if we can fold over the legs, but especially if the nose isn't feeling so good today, so if we're feeling really stuffy, we can keep the head lifted. And we're just going to walk those hands forwards and in front of us, dropping that belly. And again, keeping that head lifted. If this doesn't feel good for the nose, we might start to drop the forehead towards our covers, or if we're on a mat, towards the mat. Now when you're ready, we're going to walk ourselves gently back up. And then grabbing the hands together behind your back, so interlacing the fingers that start to open the chest, pushing those knuckles back and behind, squeezing the shoulder blades together. And keeping the chin just tucked down towards that chest. Can you lift the hands further away from the back? One more breath. And then we'll go ahead and release those hands. Now let's bring some love into the legs. We're going to send both of our legs forward. So if we're still on our pillows, no problem. Lifting those toes upwards. Let's see if we can move the sit bones just off to the sides. And then starting to circle the arms over the head, big reach up. As you breathe out, we fold forwards, grabbing any part of the leg that feels comfortable. And if you ever notice that your forward fold is all dumped into that lower back, so can we feel pulling in the lower back? If this is the case, can we lift up slightly so that we're lengthening through the torso and we're focusing on driving the heels forwards. But if it feels comfortable for you, perhaps we drop ourselves forwards, releasing the head. Knees can be nice and soft here, but we do want to keep the feet bright, so those toes are lifted slightly. Take just one more breath. And then as you inhale, lifting all the way back up to your center. We're going to take the right leg over the top of the left, and what we're doing is we're trying to stack our knee on top of the lower knee. So this is known as half cow face or half shoelace if we're moving more into yin yoga. And if this doesn't feel so comfortable, perhaps those legs are just crossed over each other, or maybe that heel is tucked in towards you, or if there's a bit more space, no problem. Now we're going to bring ourselves into our side stretch again. So bringing your right hand over towards the right side. Take a big reach with this left arm up and over. And then floating this hand back down by the side. We're going to fold ourselves forward. So whether that's reaching the hands ahead of you, we might be dropping that belly a bit lower. It's a nice opener for the hips, for the outer glute muscle. Or perhaps you're feeling this more in this lower leg, so the hamstring, the calf muscle. Take one more breath. So not spending too long in our stretches, just giving some love into the body. And then lifting up nice and slowly. We're going to support this leg, so extending again. So stepping that right leg straight, and we switch sides. So bring your left knee on top of the right knee. And again, this could be crossed. This could be that heel is tucked in, our half shoelace position. And we move into our side stretch. So placing that left hand out to the left. Circling the right arm up and over, big reach. And then floating that hand back down by the side as we start to fold forward, so walking those hands out in front. Breathing deeply into the hips. And when I say this, I mean visualizing your breath traveling there so that we're consciously relaxing the muscles. One more inhale, one more exhale. And then walking your way back up to your middle. Stepping your left leg forward, so supporting this leg just ahead of you. We're going to give a brief windscreen wiper to those feet. Now taking a butterfly pose, bring the soles of your feet together, opening those knees out nice and wide and tucking the heels close. Now sitting nice and tall, we can either be grabbing hold of the ankles, we might grab hold of those toes, we lift in length and breathing in. And then folding forwards, but hinging at the hips as you start to lean your way forwards. So you want a nice lift here. And again, if that nose is running, we might keep that head lifted. And just creating some space in the body, last breath. Now as you breathe in, lifting slowly up to your middle, we're going to keep the right heel in towards the pelvis, but step the left leg over to the left side, so those toes are lifted. We're aiming to stretch more of the lower back here, so bringing that left hand down towards the left leg. We've got lots of choice. We might wrap this right arm around the lower back as we start to peel the fingers towards the hip. Or we might begin to take a big circle up and over the head as we reach the fingertips towards the left toes. And what we want to be experiencing here is this openness through the side, so we're not dropping this shoulder down, but instead creating this lift, openness of the rib cage. We might even be gazing up. So that hand wrapped around the back is a bit more supportive, a bit less energy. Or maybe we're taking this big reach, creating space in our intercostal muscles, which are a large part of our breathing muscles, so in the side of the ribs here. Now when you're ready, we're going to float this right hand back down by the side. So if it's reaching, we lower. If it's around the back, we just return that hand back towards the side, and we'll switch around. So bringing your left heel in towards the pelvis and that right leg out to the side. And obviously readjusting on your bed to make sure that that heel is supported. And same again, so floating right hand to the right leg. We're either going to be wrapping this left hand around the back, peeling the fingertips towards the hip crease, or we might take a big stretch, reaching that arm up and over. And just finding your breath, finding a softness, a gentleness in each pose today. Last breath. And then returning your way back up to your center. So either sweeping that left arm back. Now stepping both of your legs open and wide. We want to make sure again that both of the heels are supported. So perhaps readjusting on your bed. I still have my pillow beneath me. This is just nice for some extra support beneath my sit bones. Now, pressing through the heels, lifting the toes. We can either bring the hands just behind the back, so focusing on this lift. So you might actually feel a perfect stretch exactly where you are between those legs. If you do notice that you're shrugging, so if you're leaning back, we do want that support behind us. Or we might start to walk our way forwards, but again, hinging at those hips, keeping a lift in the collarbones. And big stretch for those adductor muscles for our inner thighs. Allowing yourself to soften into this. And always noticing whether the body invites you a bit deeper. So especially at the beginning of each pose, there may well be some resistance. We can use our breath to move through this. You might notice that the body softens a little, can walk our way a bit further into the pose. Taking our last full round of breath. And then making your way back up to your middle position. Let's take a few twists in this pose. So we're going to breathe in as we reach the arms over the head, and then turning towards your right leg as you bring your right hand to the outside, left hand to the inside, drop yourself forwards. Now on your breath in, lift those arms back up. And exhale, we do this over towards that left leg. So exhaling to twist, lowering those arms, one breath. Inhale, arms back over the head, nice big reach. And then float the hands down by the sides as we step the legs together again. And once again, giving a windscreen wiper to those legs. Now bring the hands just behind the back. We're going to bend into those knees, plant the feet to the floor, to the bed. I'm so used to teaching on a floor. And let's start to lower those knees from side to side. So windscreen wipering as we take them to one side, over to the other. And although, especially when we're not feeling so well, the last thing we want to be doing is lots of movement. But this nice gentle movement can instead feel supportive. Let's take one more round. And then as those legs move back into the middle, we're going to come all the way down to lie on our backs. So if we're on our beds, make sure that there's a pillow to support the head if those sinuses aren't feeling so good. And then just taking the time to straighten those legs, to take up space, so arms out by the sides. But we really want to be opening our body as much as possible here. And just closing the eyes as you once again become aware of your physical body and any changes from when you first started moving here. So becoming aware of your areas of illness today. So if you are feeling unwell, just being present with those areas again. Is this in the nose, aches and pains in the body? And just giving ourselves the space to acknowledge how we're feeling and to find a way to nurture ourselves during this time. To give ourselves the rest that we deserve. Now please feel free to stay here for as long as needed, maybe even taking a nap. Thank you so much for joining me as always. I hope you enjoyed, and do let me know any feedback that you might have.